Guys, welcome to Consume the Goodness. My name is Kendra. I'm a certified lifestyle and weight management coach, and this channel combines healthy lifestyle with God's word. Today I'm going to share an analogy that I haven't really used on this channel, but I have used it or had it in mind for the past 12 years or so, I guess I would say. My background is mostly in the medical field. So when I started helping my husband work on cars, or when he would be working on cars and I'm out there helping him, or he's teaching me how to do things, or I'm out there watching him and asking questions like, how does this work? Why would that happen? What would be the cause of this? You know, all those types of questions. I really started relating so much of it to how our bodies work. It's just really cool, the similarities between the way that a vehicle runs and the way that our bodies run. So today I'm going to share one of the many connections that I have found between a vehicle and our bodies. All right, the analogy that I would like to talk about for this week on this subject is fuel. The connection between what we choose at the pump and what we choose in the kitchen or at the grocery store. Our vehicles run really well with clean, premium fuel, and it's the same thing for our bodies. In this case, the clean, premium fuel for the car would be fat for our bodies. As much as people don't like that, and if you are one of those people like I used to be, who is like, nope, that's wrong, fat is bad, we need to have carbs for energy, please just hang in there with me throughout this, just to listen to it, see the connections. I will have links in the description for at least a starting point of what you can read, something to read, some actual research, resources behind what I'm saying, and then channels that also can back these things up. Okay, I'm going to try to make this not super long because there's actually a second part to this video. My daughter and I will be working together again, which we haven't done in a really long time, but she has something to add to this message as well. So I'm going to get my analogy thing done and then we'll get to her stuff, and I hope that you guys enjoy all of it. Back to the analogy. All right, so just try, as I'm talking, try to spot the connections here. When we are running cleaner fuel in our cars, performance is better. We get better gas mileage. It runs so much smoother. It's good throughout the whole entire car or truck, or, you know, whatever vehicle that you may have. If we have poor quality fuel or like dirty fuel in the tank, that can lead to engine damage, clogged filters, damaged fuel injectors, engine failure, like completely just crap. And then also more connections. Think about the connections here between what I'm saying, which what I'm talking about right now is a vehicle, but think about it, apply it to our bodies. It seriously is, it's so fascinating to me, the connections between these two things. Okay, if you think about some signs that you have just bad, dirty, crappy fuel in your gas tank, reduced power, maybe stalling, or a rough idle, misfires, trouble accelerating, just an overall poor performance. Those are some signs that you've got some bad fuel, just crappy, unclean, bad quality fuel. And the same applies for our bodies. Clean and good quality fuel makes a difference in the health of our vehicles, and clean, good quality fuel makes a difference in the health of our bodies. Did I say that right? That sounded so confusing. I'm pretty sure that it came out right. Fat is the most concentrated fuel source for our bodies. So we're getting twice as much bang for our buck with fat versus getting energy from glucose, from carbs, which break down as sugar in our bodies. So we're going to get a much better energy from fat than we would from carbs or from protein. Anyway, so fat is the most efficient fuel choice at the pump, if you will. Fat is the good, clean, premium fuel choice for our bodies, the clean burning fuel that will allow us to have better performance and better gas mileage and all of those types of things that are connected with the car. Good quality fat, saturated fats, animal fat like fatty meat, red meat, bacon, beef tallow, real butter, ghee. I'm trying to think of other things. Anyway, this type of fat, these fats, the good quality, good fats for our bodies, they help balance our hormones, reduce inflammation, helps our cells to heal and repair, carries fat soluble, why is it hard for me to say, vitamins like vitamin, what would that be? A, E, vitamin D, vitamin K. These vitamins are so super important to the health of our bodies. So it is a better fuel source. It's good for us. Good fuel for our bodies. This is just one area of importance. I'm only talking about fuel today just to keep it narrowed, as far as the topic goes or whatever. But really, it's all connected. More than just the fuel. It is the fuel that we use. It's the fuel that we put into our vehicles, but it's also the oils and the fluids. And those things would be comparable to the foods that we eat and the way that we hydrate. Also, it's more than just what we're taking in. It's maintenance as well. We need to have maintenance. Just like if you had a car where the transmission fluid was bad, like the fuel, all the liquids inside of your vehicle were just junk. They were like sludged up and dirty and junky and not good. You went and took it in, or if you do it yourself, you did it yourself. You drained out all the crap stuff. You cleaned the tanks, any of the tanks that needed to be cleaned or possibly replaced. You replaced everything with good, clean fluids, oils, fuel, whatever, and then you just left it alone. You never went back and touched it again. You never checked anything again. You just left it for years and years. That's not going to work. It cannot be a temporary thing. It's the same with if we improve, or whenever we improve how we eat. I will use myself as an example. There's no way that I could have improved my health by cutting out carbs and sugars and getting rid of all of the health problems and damage that comes from eating those foods. That would be like me cutting all that stuff out. My health is improved better than it has ever been in my life. And I've been dealing with medical stuff for the majority of my life. I mean, actually, I came out with some medical complications. As a kid, I had some medical stuff going on. And then starting in middle school was when my more serious medical issues began to pop up. Okay, so this would be like me improving how I eat, or it would not have been helpful for me to improve how I eat, have my health improved, medical stuff way better, and then I'm like, okay, I'm good now. All right, I feel better now. My skin is clear, organs are running so much better, blood work is better, blood pressure is better, hormones are more stable. I could go on and on and on truly about the health benefits. The skin, the weight loss, all that stuff I think is bonus. Although excess fat and skin issues are a sign of something going on with your health, bad health, but the health benefits have been great. That would be like me getting to a good healthy point and then saying, all right, I'm good. And then I go right back to eating how I was eating. That's not going to work. Maintenance also matters. So consuming the good things, what you put in, but then maintaining it to keep it well maintained where it is so that you don't fall backwards and cause damage or have returning damage or additional damage. Okay, so that was my little analogy that I wanted to share with you guys. I hope that it made sense. I hope that it was helpful, and I hope that it opened your mind maybe a little bit to something, or at least sparked an interest enough in your health that you would want to at least maybe just go research some things or try some things. Okay, so as everybody knows, this channel combines healthy lifestyle with God's word, and like I said at the beginning, my daughter is going to be providing the God's word connection for this video. This is something that she wrote herself with this week's encouragement in mind. So I'm just gonna leave it to her, show you guys some pictures of, pretty things that we see while we're out as a family walking or whatever. So yeah, that's what I'll do. So here this is, and then it's just going to end after that. So I will tell you guys now. Thank you so much for being here. God bless. I hope to have you guys back for the next one. And I do hope that you enjoy what our oldest has written up for you guys.
Everyone is familiar with the story of Daniel in the lion's den, right? Some jealous, stubborn administrators convinced King Darius to put into effect a law forbidding the act of worshiping anyone other than the king, knowing Daniel, whom the ruler favored, wouldn't stop worshiping God. Then Daniel was caught praying to the Lord, thrown into a den of hungry lions. An angel appeared to protect him. You know the one. There's something often overlooked in the first chapter of the story of Daniel. It's when he's being trained over the course of 3 years for his high position and service to the king. He had the pleasure of having permission to drink the wine and eat anything from the king's table. Remember, back then, food the rich ate was like no other. The royal cuisine was renowned for its richness and variety. featuring dishes with the finest meats, spices, and ingredients. By eating at the king's table, Daniel was exposed to a culinary experience unlike anything he had known before. However, this posed as a spiritual risk for the training man because, as a Jew, he was bound to dietary laws. Now keep in mind that this was before Jesus, so following and remaining faithful to God was conveyed by walking a strict line of rules set earlier in the Old Testament. Therefore, this food presented to him was forbidden by his faith. But Daniel resolved not to defile himself with the royal food and wine, and he asked the chief official for permission not to defile himself this way. The chief official favored Daniel but didn't think it was such a good idea. Comparing him to the others being trained, he said, "Why should the king see you looking worse than the other young men your age?" He asked again still, "Please test your servant for 10 days. Give us nothing but vegetables to eat and water to drink. Then compare our appearance with that of the young men who eat the royal food and treat your servant accordingly with what you see." And so it was. At the end of the 10 days, the 3 men who did as Daniel looked more healthy and better nourished than those who chose to eat the royal food. Daniel 1:17 reads, "To these 4 men God gave knowledge and understanding of all kinds of literature and learning." The meaning of the word defiling is to make dirty or spotty, as by exposure, and words associated to it include spot, stain, and pollute. It's true that you won't be compromising your ticket to heaven by eating food these days. However, there are things the Bible describes as defiling still. These are sexual immorality, idolatry, worldly associations, and the neglect of God's commands. All of these things are so prevalent in our world, and the world makes it all seem okay. It tells you that everyone does it, so why shouldn't you? It tells you something like there's no time for God except maybe on Sunday, but once you're out of that church, go do whatever you want. These things are not of God. They can be used by Him or for His glorification, but they are not godly. Just as He can use them, so can Satan. I heard a quote once by Ricardo Sanchez. In it he said, "The devil knows your name but calls you by your sin. God knows your sin but calls you by your name." Satan has the ability to lead people away from God's will by influencing their thoughts and actions, by making them feel dirty, spotty, or stained. He pollutes. What happens when you give in to those defiling things? You scoot a little further from God, similar to how if you eat a bunch of junk food, you distance yourself from a healthy goal you may have set for yourself. We, like Daniel, should always strive to be free of defilement through our mind, body, and spirit for God's glory. For where your treasure is, there your heart will also be. The eye is the lamp of the body. If your eyes are healthy, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eyes are unhealthy, your whole body will be full of darkness. In this verse, Jesus is saying something like our version of, "You are what you eat." Us humans are very absorbent of our environment. For example, if you watch a scary movie, you may feel kind of scared, even when the movie is over. Or after I listen to country music, I want to talk with a southern accent, even though the music is over. So sit on that verse for a bit. Where do you want your heart to be? How are you getting yourself there? Resisting these polluting things isn't easy. This is something you have to rely on the Lord for help with. Being willing to give those roadblocks up is the beginning, and continuing the faith in the Lord is how you overcome. I am sure of this, that He who began a good work in you will bring it to completion at the day of Jesus Christ. God is faithful, and He will not let you be tempted beyond your ability, but with the temptation He will also provide the way of escape, that you may be able to endure it. Let me add that we all understand that making the right choice is not always the easiest. But don't worry, as Deuteronomy 31:6 assures us, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them. For the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you." So quick recap. Daniel set a great example of how we should act to take care of our bodies and spirituality. The situation could have very well been used by Satan to get the young man off track, but instead it glorified God because Danny Boy remained faithful. The situation could have also led to worsening health had he indulged in eating the unhealthy foods. We can apply this to our lives by making sure our hearts are placed in the right hands and that our environment is a good one that pushes us closer to our goals, not separating us from them. It won't always be easy, but we are never alone in anything we do, and the reward will be always so much greater on the other side.